Hello, so I am Ben and this is Emily from iSyncPop. I have been this morning doing some training around kind of health and safety and some practical elements to do with events and that sort of stuff with the iSyncPop team today. And so I've been working with the iSyncPop team for a number of years, doing some of the events in the schools with the kids. And I would love to encourage you, if you are looking for resources for your kids in your church, go and check out the iSyncPop channel with Emily. She's got loads of great YouTube videos that you can go and have a look at. But that's it from us. Have a look at this training and hopefully you'll find it helpful for you in your churches. Yeah, so as we said, I'm going to do a bit of health and safety type training with you, particularly looking at kind of practical stuff around events and things that we might need to just be aware of as we do events. So I'm going to run through a few things. I'm going to keep it moving fairly quickly, but I am going to give opportunity for questions. So if you want to ask anything, then please feel free to do that. But we're going to start off with a bit of manual handling. So we've got a couple of trolleys over here. One of the things that we're going to try and make sure we do is we're going to use trolleys or things on wheels as much as possible to move things around. So there's a couple of different types of trolleys, but they're all going to do the same kind of job. So we're going to use these wherever we possibly can, but we need to be aware that we need to not overload them when you're loading them up. So one of the things that I quite often see people do is, you'll have a pile of kit left over at the end and we want to get out the door as quickly as we can, and so we put as much of it as we possibly can on the trolley. Now there's a couple of things. First of all, they do have a weight limit. They can take quite a lot, but they do have a weight limit. But weight limits are not always that helpful because we don't necessarily know how heavy a case is that we're putting into the trolley. So be aware that there is a weight limit as to how much you can put on that, but it may not help you so much. But just try not to overload it, because the thing that I see time and time and time again is people pile trolleys high, and then as soon as you pull it away, everything falls off the back. And two things happen when that happens. First of all, you actually delay yourself from getting out the building. You know, we're trying to get out the building, so we grab as much as we can and we shove it on the trolley thinking that it will speed us up to get us out the door. And actually it probably takes twice as long because you just spill it all over the place and throw it all over the floor. The other thing that happens is that there's a potential that we could damage equipment. And there are certain bits of equipment that we carry spares of, and if it gets broken, we can just swap it out and put another one in. But there are certain bits of equipment that we just don't have a spare of. So in this case, is a mixing desk, and if that falls on the floor and gets broken, that's show over. We can't do anything without a mixing desk. So we just need to be aware as we're loading stuff up on here, if it does fall off the back, we could potentially have a major problem on our hands because something's been damaged because the trolley was overloaded. Also, trolleys are roughly the width of a door. Now, there's no one standard size for doors. Some doors are wider, some doors are narrower. But imagine that your trolley is the width of the door. And again, another thing that I see quite often people will do is they'll take poles and put them that way across the trolley. Absolutely. So you know what's going to happen. As soon as you try and go through a doorway, everything's going to fall off the trolley. So just be aware of that as well as you load up trolleys. Try to keep it within the footprint of the trolley itself. If you need to come off the trolley, if you need to put something long on a trolley, put it that way, and then you don't have to worry about going through doors with it. So yeah, 2 trips are better than 1. Try to make sure you're not putting too much on, and it's the tortoise and the hare thing. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't rush, don't overload things. Okay. So secondly, manual handling. So there's some stuff here that I'm sure probably most of you are aware of, but when it comes to lifting boxes, straight back, bend your knees. So we're always going to lift the box straight back, bend your knees, and lift with your legs, not with your knees, not with your back, sorry, okay? I'm sure everybody's been aware of that. So what we're going to try and do as much as possible, as I say, we're going to make use of trolleys. So you're not going to be lifting things. Wherever possible, we're going to use the wheels and wheel it around. But there might be some things that we do need to lift. And so there are some buildings that we go to, I mean, even like today, hopefully this is not what you're going to experience often, but if you've got a staircase that you need to come up when you're loading kit in, you're going to have to carry some things up the stairs. And so what we're going to try and do is make it that we have boxes that actually are a 2-person lift. So you're not going to lift stuff on your own, but we're going to lift them with other people. So can I have a willing volunteer? Is anybody going to come and be brave and come and lift a box with me? It is an empty case, so it's not heavy. Thank you. Wonderful. Here we go.
Beautiful volunteer.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're going to take the handles, we're going to straight back, bend our knees, and we're going to count to 3. And we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and on 1, we're going to lift together, okay? One more time, okay, we're going to go down, bend your knees. 3, 2, 1, and we lift on 1. There we go. Brilliant, wonderful. There we go, let's go back again. Great, thank you. Okay, so fairly obvious stuff, but we're going to do that, and we're going to make sure we communicate with each other. So we're going to do a count 3, 2, 1, lift on 1, as I say, if we can, wheel it in, but there are some times where you just can't do that. So that is pretty much it for the manual handling stuff. Are there any questions on manual handling before we move on to the next stuff? Yep.
The kind of like stuffing stuff on that box.
Yes.
And rolling, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, yeah, so you can put some things on a trolley, on a case and wheel it on a case. But again, just don't put too much on there. If it's going to start falling off, then we're going to have problems, but just be sensible. But yes, absolutely, you can do that. Yeah.
What is the weight limit of this?
I think this is 150 kilos. So that's like 2 people. Yeah, so as I say, it's a fairly high weight limit, but it's not necessarily all that helpful because you don't really know what the weight of the things that you're putting in it is, unless you're really good at guessing weights just by holding things, but most people probably not so much. It does pack, so these do pack down fairly small. I don't know whether Ben wants to come and demonstrate.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
If they never use a travel cot, it's like a travel cot, basically.
Yeah.
For this one, there is a little floor which folds up, and then you just...
Oh, wow.
It velcros in so it's smaller, but it'll be a really small